Hey guys, my name is Shai and this is Evermind Astro. This video is Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, okay? Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn. This one has a little bit of a different feel. It's very interesting. Of course, I have a Capricorn stellium, including my Sun and Saturn, and so I really dig the Capricorn vibe here. This vibe is doing it for me, even though it's like Lilith, right, which can be this very challenging placement. I don't know. I'm liking the vibe. It's giving me shivers. There's something about this here. So, but let me try to tune into the Lilith aspect of this Capricorn, right? Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn. So, of course, with Black Moon Lilith, we have some kind of wound that brings distortion, right? And we have these polarizing effects where we can obsess or reject about the theme. So very generally speaking, Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, you could have issues or fixation or rejection surrounding career. That's like the big obvious one. And yet boiling down Capricorn to career is like one of my biggest pet peeves, because that is like the very surface level of it. The reason career always gets brought up with Capricorn is because the deeper Capricorn themes are kind of symbolically involved with career, such as, your status and your legacy and how you are perceived by others. I'd like to take a minute to distinguish between the Capricorn elements of how other people perceive you and the Aquarian elements of how other people perceive you, right? They both have to do with your kind of public image, but Aquarius is more about how does the collective see you, how do your peers see you, how is your identity understood by others? But with Capricorn, it's less about this like identity thing, and it's more about you just don't want people to think poorly of you. You're right. You don't want to embarrass yourself. You want to look professional. You want to look clean and clear. You want to look like you know what you're doing. You don't want to look like a fool, right? You want to be seen as somebody who has their shit together and who knows what they are doing, right? And this even bleeds into executive functioning, which is a huge element of Capricorn. And again, this is still kind of skirting the surface of Capricorn, but so Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, you could have some kind of issue with executive functioning, where some people with this placement, it's like they live an entirely alternative lifestyle. It's like this is where you've rejected executive functioning and you just kind of run around like living like a gypsy or never doing anything the normal way. Maybe because you don't know how to do things the normal way. You don't know even what that means. You might be like, what does she mean the normal way? Just kind of living life. It's not so much your personal life, it's like how you deal with the world, how you deal with society, right? Like going to the store, standing in line, dealing with all your government shit, dealing with all of your legal shit, dealing with your career stuff, dealing with your education, just kind of doing everything like properly, not necessarily because you care that much about what is right and what is proper, but because you understand that that is just the way to get stuff done, right? That's just effective. It's just an effective way to get stuff done, right? You keep all your banking in order. You keep your receipts, you keep your checkbook balanced, although nobody does that in 2023. But you know what I mean, right? You just kind of keeping your life organized, keeping everything flowing by dealing with society in the way that just makes things easiest, right? Doing your executive functioning, getting to your appointments on time, just having your life all nice and organized, especially when it comes to how you interface with society, right? So some of you could, because with Black Moon Lilith, we have to allow for opposite and polarized reactions to things. So you could become obsessed with that because maybe you feel deeply wounded about like, oh my God, if I don't like get my shit together, if I don't keep my shit together, if I don't pull myself up by my bootstraps and like organize and run my life correctly, then, disaster will befall or everyone will think really poorly of me and I'll be the embarrassment, right? That kind of thing. Or you could just entirely reject that entire scene and just live in chaos, right? And I mean, whichever way you choose is honestly kind of fine because it's your life, right? It's your life and live your life the way you want to live it. Right? So that's all fine. You could have, yeah, with Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, this kind of has to be said. This isn't going to be everybody, right? But there is a subset of people here who will inevitably have issues with their parents. Traditionally, this would be seen as the father, and I do see challenged Capricorn energy or challenged 10th house energy, right? Coming up as issues with the father, with a father figure, right? Or just with the authority, right? Powers that be. You could have massive issues with authority. However that plays out. It of course can be, it can be your mom, it can be anybody or anything really, but there can be this massive issue with authority. And interesting the way I'm just kind of seeing this play out, at least for some people, it can be this thing of the authority figure, whatever that is for you. And that can even include the government or teachers or the police, like whatever is an authority for you, right? But it's like the authority figure betrayed and abandoned you, didn't take care of you properly, neglected you. I feel like there's like a neglect thing here. Neglect, like rejection based in neglect is probably a big theme here. Also a feeling as if you didn't toe the line, like you didn't toe the company line, you didn't do what your parents or maybe your father expected you to do, you didn't, follow in your father's footsteps, or you just didn't do life properly, right? And because of that, you were neglected. Because of that, you were seen as subhuman is actually what I'm hearing, and that's pretty intense. But it's like, oh, you didn't live up to expectations, Capricorn, right? Expectations. You didn't live up to expectations, and therefore now we're just gonna like neglect you. Now we're just gonna let you slide, and it's not even really like it is a rejection, right? But it's the way I'm feeling this is anyway. It's like this feeling of a rejection. The way this authority figure has rejected you, it's this feeling of the authority figure just fucking off, just like disappearing, right? I mean, so stereotypically we can imagine where this could be a father just literally abandoning you and never coming back, right? Or being physically present but being entirely like emotionally unavailable. And I mean like this on like a next level, right? Because I think most people have like had emotionally unavailable parents, right? Because our parents were doing their best that they could in an extremely challenging situation to deal with their own crap. And since they had so much crap to deal with, they just like had no energy left over to really be emotionally present with their children. And they didn't have the emotional intelligence to be emotionally present with their children. And that's most parents to some degree. And that's just the reality of Earth life at this time. So when I say this authority figure was emotionally unavailable, I mean this on like a next level, right? Like next level, like completely, maybe like physically present, but like entirely walled off or uncommunicative in some way, shape, or form. This brings me to themes of self-parenting, that might be part of the key for how you can walk your healing path with this one, right? Self-parenting, right? If you were neglected by some kind of authority, or if if this is a parent, it's almost easier to run this, right? Okay, if you were neglected by a parent, now you have to give yourself all of the tender love and care, and even like to teach yourself things, right? If you were in a situation where your parents like didn't teach you vital life skills. Honestly, people my age could probably relate to that quite a bit, because if your parents were baby boomers, right? If your parents were baby boomers, I don't know, there was something with the way the baby boomers parented. They most of them, at least where I grew up, didn't seem to teach like life skills, right? We kind of all went off into the world and we had to teach our own things. We had to teach ourselves our own life skills. There was just not an emphasis when I was growing up in the 90s on an emphasis of learning life skills. It was all just about, you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want, and make sure you do good in school, right? It was this focus on book learning, on school learning, on academic achievement and not really much emphasis on life skills. So, I mean, that was like, I'm getting a little off track here, but you know, that type of thing. You might have to teach yourself the life skills that you need, having to teach yourself to do your own taxes, having to teach yourself how to apply to college, having to teach yourself how to like find a job, and how to open a bank account, all of these things that, you know, the authority never helped you with, and you have to teach yourself that. So having to self-parent in that way. Also, if this is like going more kind of macro for you guys, where you feel like it's this bigger authority figure, maybe some kind of, you know, some kind of power, the powers that be in society or in government, or even just in the universe, right? This could go cosmic for some people, having to feel like you need to now fill that in for your own self. And of course, this is a Capricorn's theme, right? When Capricorn is I would argue, the most independent energy, the most self-sufficient energy, the energy that is like, you know, it's like every time I start talking about Capricorn, I start talking about bootstraps, right? It's the bootstraps. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Be the Rock of Gibraltar. Get your shit together. You have to do this alone. You have to walk this path alone. And that's what you're going to do. Right? You're going to be strong. You're going to be independent. You're going to do it all of yourself. You're going to be for others what nobody was for you. You are going to stand up tall. You're going to figure it out, and you're going to be all of it for yourself, and ultimately you will eventually be all of it for others. And it's, you know, so when you have really empowered Capricorn energy, this comes very naturally to you, and you know, you can take that way overboard. Trust me, I know all about that, where you become hyper fixated on your independence and your and your ability to like just be this implacable rock. You know, and it's not like you take that too far, and that's bad too, right? But so with Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, this might be a really sore spot for you, where you have to learn how to embody that energy, where life really forces you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, where it forces you to walk a path independently, and where it forces you to figure it out for yourself. And you could easily have cases where you keep looking to the authority, or you keep looking to something, looking for the answers, looking for help, looking for the instructions, looking for the support. And with Capricorn, it's just not going to, like with this thing, it's like not going to be there, because the point is to teach you to do it yourself, right? And I would actually argue on a higher level, that is why you took on this placement, because you were trying to learn how to do something for yourself. You're learning the ultimate independence, right? Is what you're doing. You're learning ultimate independence. And that can be super fucking triggering for somebody with a challenged Capricorn placement, because you could feel like it's impossible, right? Like there is like a wound here, that there is a wound that festered in neglect, and anything, like any talk of forced independence can be massively triggering, right? Can be massively triggering. So yeah, you know, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, but it will start to make sense as you walk through your life and you learn this long, slow process of building your own independence. You have to build yourself up here. You have to build your independence up. And that's the thing. Another thing with Capricorn energy is that anything that is achieved with Capricorn energy, it is achieved. It's like climbing a mountain, right? The sea goat. You're climbing the mountain. And think of it. It's not just the mountain goat. Okay, it's the sea goat. Think of sometimes Capricorn gets boiled down into being the mountain goat, but its more ancient symbol is the sea goat, right? Where the back half of the goat is actually a marine creature, right? A sea creature. And I always imagine it like this. Capricorn began actually in the deepest, darkest depths of the bottom of the ocean as this underwater sea creature, right? And imagine what that kind of life is like in the deepest, darkest depths. And there's a thing here. It's not just about water. It's also about pressure, right? Because the bottom of the ocean, yeah, it's dark and it's deep and it's watery, but down at the bottom of the ocean, the pressure of all that water, it's incredibly dense, incredibly high pressure environment. And so you come up and you come up and you come up and you come up out of all the layers of the ocean, and then you get to the surface, and then whew, wow, holy shit, you break the surface. Your head is now out of the water with the rest of your body in the water. And you drag yourself up onto the shore, and now you're completely out of the water, and you start to change, you start to evolve. This is the transformative aspect of Capricorn. Okay, it's actually a transformative sign. A lot of people don't think of it that way because it's always boiled down as being, you know, just, you know, the way that Capricorn is kind of stereotypically seen, but it is a transformative energy. It's cardinal earth energy, right? Cardinal energy. The cardinal signs are the energies that grasp and contain and transform the creative energy and then ripple it out into the world, right? It's like, I really see the mutable and the fixed energies coming together within the cardinal energies, and it's the cardinal signs that have this, like, they receive the energy and then they transform the energy and then they send the energy out into the world. It's like the pivotal point. It's the, this is where this is where it is baked. It's almost like Capricorn is the oven. Okay, you like okay, to use a cake metaphor here for like the modalities of the zodiac sign, right? The mutable energies, right? The mutable signs are like the cake batter, right? You're putting all the different, like the flour and the sugar and the eggs and the cake batter, and you're mixing it all up. It's all changeable and it's mutable and it's shifting around and it's making mushy batter, right? And then you put it in the oven, and Capricorn is the oven, right? That's the cardinal energy is the oven. It is what bakes it into what it is, and then the cake comes out of the oven, and now that would be fixed earth energy, right? That's fixed energy because now it is what it is, and it's going to remain as a cake until it is, like, you know, broken down and the process starts again, right? But anyway, so Capricorn here is like the oven. Your oven. You're going through this transformative process, and you're transforming from the sea creature into the mountain goat. So you have to go through this whole process of, and imagine how awkward that transformative process is when you're half sea creature and half mountain goat. But then you keep climbing them. Now you're climbing the mountain, right? You're climbing the mountain. You're climbing the mountain. You're climbing the mountain. You're climbing the mountain. Why is Captain Kirk climbing the mountain? Do you guys know that video? Anyway, so you're Captain Kirk and you're climbing the mountain. Why is he climbing the mountain? And you're slowly, and I think when you're getting to the top of the mountain, that's when the sea goat becomes the mountain goat. I think it's this long transformative process, and ultimately, the mountain goat gets to the top of the mountain. And then you're on top of the world, looking down at your accomplishment, and your achievement and your evolution, right? And that's the thing. There's this fixation with Capricorn about accomplishment and success and achievement. Why is that? What is that really about? Of course, it is all of those things. But the accomplishment and the success and the achievement, the cardinal earth energy essentially sees that as the material reflection of your inner evolution, right? Your internal reflection, the material reflection of your inner evolution. So your Black Moon Lilith journey is going to take you through this very long, because how long did it take you to climb up out of the deepest, darkest depths to get to the tippity top of the mountain peak and have to go through this huge physical transformation in the process? That's the process of you building your independence, right? So this is like a lifelong project. With anything with Capricorn, it is lifelong. And of course, with Capricorn, it even transcends your own life, and it is the legacy of your transformation will ripple out for generations and generations and generations to come. It is the legacy of your transformation. So you're gonna get there. You just have to let go of counting the time, right? Because this is the longest term process. Because when we get into Aquarius and Pisces, time, I mean, there's still a time thing going on with Aquarius, but by the time we get to Pisces, time has disappeared. So you're going to have to let go of thinking about how long is this taking, because with Capricorn, it is interdimensional legacy, right? Interdimensional legacy, and intergenerational legacy as well. So it takes a long time. If you're counting the time, you will just be kneecapping yourself. So just focus on building yourself up, on building your independence, and focusing on getting that frequency of that inner independence, the feeling of independence inside of you, the feeling like you are the Rock of Gibraltar, right? The feeling like you can withstand any waves, the feeling that I fucking got this. I fucking got this, and I don't need any of that crap. And when I fall down, because Capricorn will fall down, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times Capricorn falls down, because you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, even when there's no one to reach out a hand, right? Black Moon Lilith and Capricorn, you could be looking for the hand. You could be looking for someone to pull you up. You could be looking for someone to raise you up. You could be looking for someone to help you. You could be looking for a shoulder to cry on. You could be looking for a safety net, looking for support. But since you are marching and chewing and churning your way through this Black Moon Lilith and Capricorn journey, when you're in, it's not that you won't ever receive help and support in your life, because of course there's so much more to you than just your Black Moon Lilith and Capricorn placement, right? And of course there will be times in life where you do receive support, but it's when you're having a moment of Black Moon Lilith lesson, like when the stars align and it's like, okay, you're in your Black Moon Lilith moment in Capricorn, the support and the helping hand is not going to be there, and that is not to punish you or anything. It's not the universe trying to thwart you. It is actually giving you the opportunity for you to pick your own self up, for you to understand what it means to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And then you'll be able to walk off into the world, walk to the top of that mountain, feeling so fucking empowered that you just like won't be able to get enough of yourself, right? Because you are the only thing that you need. You're the only thing that you have ever needed. And you know that at the soul level. Because of this neglect-based wound, you forgot that, but now you're teaching yourself to remember. So I'm going to leave you guys there. Lots of links down below. Check me out. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.